But I believe the other gospel that is taught in the Bible, there will be another gospel in the last days. I believe it's the love of money gospel. I really do. That has for the last 20, 30 years, we've been teaching, I taught it. We've been teaching prosperity and people falling in love with money. And the love of money is the root of all evil. So I don't mean to get off on that, but I believe that there's things that are being taught today that are so dangerous because many believe that we're going to be taken out before anything happens. And I've been studying your chart here, which I love. And from here to Armageddon, if you believe the rapture takes place here and it doesn't take place till here, there's a whole lot of shaking between here and there, about 7 years at least, right?
Yes, and Jim, when I was starting to try to figure this out for myself, the first thing that happened was if I heard of a prophecy conference somewhere, I would drive 150 miles because I was so hungry to know. And I would get there, and when I left, my brain was whirling, and I was more confused than when I went.
Yes.
And I thought, I must really be dumb because I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Now, looking back, I now do understand that teacher was trying his best to teach, but he was teaching something he read from a book written by a man who read something from another book, who read something from another book.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I finally had to put the books away and just take the Bible.
Amen.
And once I did that, I remember Matthew 24. Of course, you mentioned that a while ago. Matthew 24, it says right there, verse number 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be dark and the moon will not give her light, the stars will fall from heaven. And then shall appear the sign of the coming of the Son of Man, and he will send his angels to gather his elect.
That's right.
I looked at that and said, I'm preaching pre-trib rapture, and right here in my Bible, it says immediately after the tribulation.
Yes.
So I went to my dad. My dad was a wonderful man of God. But he was not a prophecy teacher. He was a cornbread and beans pastor. He could straighten your motor out real fast. Anyway, I went to him. I said, Dad, it says right here immediately after the tribulation. Why do we teach pre-trib? Yeah. He says, well, they tell me the elect there is the Jews and we're going to be gone. And I said, okay, well, I had a Strong's Exhaustive Concordance.
Right.
And I opened it up and I found that the word elect is 13 places in the New Testament. And so I read them all. One time it talked about Jesus. One time it talked about the angels. And the other 11 times it talks about the church. I went back to Dad and I said, Dad, look. It talks about the church. He said, son, I don't know. And so then every preacher that came through our home, and we had a lot of preachers visit our home, we'd sometimes sit up to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning around the kitchen table studying God's Word. And that's really what we need to be doing again.
Yes.
We need more people
Amen.
studying God's Word. That's
good. Yes, we do.
And then I'll just tell you, the last nail in my pre-trib coffin, I was pretty well convinced because all the scriptures were coming together, but I was still, I was really swimming against the tide. And so I was reading one day Revelation chapter 20, verse 4 through 6, and it says there, I saw those that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus. They did not take the mark of the beast. They did not worship his image. Then it says, and these lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. This is the first resurrection. I read that and it froze me in my tracks. Wait a minute. If the people that were here during the mark of the beast, that did not worship the image, did not take the mark, if when they're resurrected, that's the first resurrection, what's my resurrection? I've been preaching that's going to happen 7 years before this. I knew that day that I was wrong. And I had to change my mind.